On today's episode, Reef McInnes. Reef would start his junior career with the Canterbury Cobras in the YJFL. At 15, he would shift over to Burundara Hawks as part of the merger with Baldwin and Hawthorn Citizens. Reef McInnes would be identified for the Oakley Chargers development program before also joining the Collingwood Next Generation Academy. Reef would then move on to Surrey Park Junior Football Club to finish off his junior career. In 2018, as a 16-year-old, he would impress across half-back, making the Vic Metro team. That same year as a Year 10, he would debut for the Scotch First 18 in the APS. The hard work would start to pay off. In 2019's pre-season, he was named vice-captain of the Oakley Chargers as a bottom-age player. That same year, he would take part in one of the highlights in his short career, winning the Cordner-Eggleston Cup in the biggest fixture on Scotch's calendar. And to cap off a huge 2019, Reef would develop his craft in all areas on the ground before playing a part in the Oakley Chargers premiership winning side and being selected to partake in the Under-17 NAB Futures game before the AFL Grand Final, where he would kick 2 goals for Team Brown. Welcome Reef McInnes to Talent Talk Tuesday.
Hello and welcome to Talent Talk Tuesday. Special guest this week is Reef McInnes. Welcome, Reef.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We'll get started, and I'll start off with the first question. And the first question I've got for you is, tell us about your football journey and what made you want to play football.
Yeah, sure. So I sort of started my football journey probably later than most, I think. Probably Year 5, Year 6 is when I really got into it. Down at Canterbury Cobras. So I got into it just because a couple of mates thought I was all right and I could give it a shot. And I just really loved it. I was never in the good teams. I just loved playing with like my really close mates. And then lucky enough, was able to get selected in the higher divisions, I guess gold division and that. And just played some all right footy with a couple of my mates. So yeah, I just really enjoyed, I guess, the junior aspect down at the Cobras. And yeah, that's what really got me into, I guess, loving footy to this stage, yeah.
Yep. So along that footy journey, you've had many influences and many people in your support network. Has there been anyone that's really stood out to you so far in your junior career?
Yeah, I've had many awesome coaches from, I guess, Paul Townsend down at Canterbury. He's been amazing. Obviously, you, Spoon, you've helped me develop heaps throughout my career, and I appreciate that heaps, especially at Surrey Park. And I had a great time there. But through Oakley and that, I've had heaps of help from, I guess, Lee Clark, our head coach. He was amazing, and all the support that he gave, as well as the coaches around him that really bonded us together and connected us as a group. I think that really stood out to me, and I really appreciated the help that he gave, especially turning me into like a better person as well as a better footballer. So I guess overall, I've had many great experiences with all these coaches, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity I've been given. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Cool. So you had a big 2019 with a lot of football through your Oakley Chargers being named vice captain as a bottom age player, through Scotch College and winning the Cordner-Eggleston Cup, and obviously playing before the AFL Grand Final in that Futures game. What expectations did you have leading into 2020? And how have you balanced football, school, your injury rehab because of your back, and the pressures that come with it?
Yeah, certainly. I was really excited for this year, just being, I guess, the top ager. I mean, like someone to look up to for the younger boys. And unfortunately, we didn't get that. But in the end, you can only control what you can control. So I guess moving on from that, I've been able to like study heaps and really crack down with schoolwork. And I guess with the family as well, being around them 24/7, you know, it can be sometimes annoying, but I guess that's the best thing in life, just being around your family and having fun. So I can't really complain with that. But yeah, school's hard to stay motivated at times, but with I guess the combine as like a set goal and possibly a date later on, I can really set my goal to strive to get the best, I guess, times or jumps or whatever they're testing. So I think really being able to study and then do combine preparation is a really good balance, like physical and my mental health as well. With the injury, it's like at times I think it's been a blessing in disguise that we haven't played based off my back having stress fractures, but lucky enough they've 100% healed and I'm feeling better than ever. Unfortunately, we won't get to play, so I won't really get to show off, I guess, my playing ability. But that's everyone, so I can't really complain with that. But yeah, I'd say the balance has been still pretty good despite the circumstances. So obviously would love to be at school learning with my teachers, but right now I just got to cop it at home. So we'll see that in the future. Yeah.
Fun. So we know you've been part of the Oakley system, and we know that you've been part of the APS system at Scotch. How have you found the elite pathway coming through? And if there's anything that you could change about it, what would you do to change it to make it a bit better?
I've loved playing for both Oakley and school. First off, the thing I'd change was chuck finals in for APS. I don't know what's going on there. We need a grand final. We need something to obviously it's awesome, but we want that goal. We want to find finals.
Yeah.
And I speak for the majority of the boys who play. But then again, with having Oakley as that balance, I'm able to play finals with them and have such a great experience. And I think it's really, really good for like my and like other boys' development as well, with the, I guess, 2 trainings a week at school and then back end of the week, you know, another 2 training with Oakley. So in the end, that's 4 sessions a week and you're able to develop, learn new things, and the variety of coaches you get, I guess, experience from and the opportunity to learn from really enhances your growth as a footballer and as a person. And I guess that's really important in life because, you know, you can't, like people say, you can't play the one position, you can't work the one role. You got to be able to adapt to different situations. And so I think that it's a blessing to have both APS and charges, and they're both enjoyable and I love them both. So unfortunately, but yeah, just hopefully
That's good.
In the future. Yeah.
That's awesome. So so you linked with Collingwood through the NJ Academy, and some of the viewers asked us, because we had Nick Dacos on earlier on, who's part of the NJ Academy as well, and they asked us, so how has that helped your development being part of that program? And could you give us a little bit of insight of what's actually involved in that program? A lot of people think that you might be there, you know, every day of the week, but you know, and I know it's not exactly that. So can you give a little bit of insight of what's involved and how that's helped you along your journey so far?
Yeah. I think I was introduced to that program possibly under 15s through a trial match at Oakley, I think. And ever since
I'll never forget that day, Reef.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun game. It was
a good game.
But yeah, they've been awesome for my development, I guess. And I think confidence is really a key word in that build up, because since then I really gained confidence being around, I guess, some elite players who now play AFL, like Will Kelly, Isaac and R2.
Yeah.
They're all stars, and just being around them, bigger bodies, a lot more mature than I was, and just how good they were at footy really, really enhanced me to believe in myself and I guess get the most out of the training. And then obviously the coaches like Blackie, Cookie, they've been amazing for my development, always checking up on me. And always, you know, listening and giving me heaps of advice. And now and then we go through, like, I guess, my games that occurred last year. And so that's been awesome for my development.
That's great.
I'm really thankful for them. Yeah. The system's been awesome. So usually summer holidays and I guess Easter and those periods of holidays, we've been able to go in, I guess, possibly twice a week to develop our skills and training. So we got to do the gym sessions, the on-ground skills, the sprung floor skills, and then recovery. So it sort of showed me, I guess, maybe the life of an AFL player, just in like a couple days. So people might think we're in there every day. We're not. It's a privilege to be in there, I guess, in the holidays twice a week when the players aren't there. So, and it's really about our development. They care for us, and it's been a great experience. And it's been awesome.
It's good.
So pretty lucky to
That's
be there.
great. That's awesome. And my last question for now. So you've played at all levels. We've seen you from YJFL, NAB League, Oakley, APS, Scotch, etc., and Vic Metro. What has been your biggest challenge so far in your football career, and what's your favourite moment so far in your football journey?
Probably biggest challenge was probably my back. Having the stress fractures and playing through them. Obviously, at the time, I did not realise that they were stress fractures, so I continued to play. But that was worth it in the end, because my favourite moment would be winning the premiership with all my mates and building that really, really close bond with some people I've never met in my life, and they're becoming some of my best mates in life now. But I think it's a great thing about footy, going into a program that is an elite pathway, but in the end, it's a great way to make friends, build relationships, and I think that's one of the most enjoyable parts of footy, just learning from other people and getting to know different coaches and players. So, great moments in that, I guess, my short career so far.
So being a potential up-and-coming prospect, which AFL player or players inspire you, and what kind of player do you aspire to be?
I love watching Nat Fyfe, Jordan Ridley. I guess with Fyfe, he's able to use his body to his advantage, and he's a very tall, very built midfielder, and I just love watching him go about it because he does things no other midfielder can do. And he struts around like he doesn't care, but he's an absolute beast, and he's just a gun to watch. And so like as I've got older in footy, I've begun to watch players rather than watching teams. I think that's really developed me as a player as well, just watching what they do and key things and attributes that they hold to themselves. And with Ridley, he's shown that you can do anything. Like he was a good player in his juniors through Chargers and that, but now he's one of the stars of the AFL, only playing about 25, 30 games. So pretty unbelievable. And just watching him this year was unreal, despite Essendon having an okay season. And I'm a Bombers fan, so it was good to see some success come from, I guess, Ridley and McGrath as well, because he's a rising gun as well. So it's great to watch them and see what they can do on the footy field. Definitely.
Wow, that's awesome. And just on those players, you mentioned a few of the midfielders there, and you currently are looked at as probably being a tall midfielder or sometimes a halfback flanker. Is there, since you've been talking to clubs, are there certain roles that they've been saying, we believe you should fit here or fit there, or anything of that nature?
I've had a couple of questions asked what position I'd think I'd play if I made an AFL list.
Yeah.
I think I'd love to be a midfielder at the back end if I was able to develop. Obviously, in the first year, it's pretty hard to go if I was lucky enough to get drafted. So, I've loved my halfback role at the Chargers. That was a great development for me, being able to play both stuck on a man, fully being aggressive on a man, but then also being able to, I guess, intercept and play off him and be that spare defender and link up players to kick down the field. So I think both have really helped me develop as a player, and especially the midfield, just seeing new roles, like I said before, being able to play different positions rather than just that one fixed role. So, it's been good as both a midfield and a halfback, I'd say,
Yep, and leading into the draft combine, obviously you've spoken to multiple clubs. What has been the weirdest question that you've had to answer so far?
I got a weird question from Adelaide the other day. They asked a lot of very different questions that I haven't had from the other clubs. He asked me an economics question, like a subject I'm doing at school, and he asked me to answer I guess a 4-mark response to it. And like on the spot, like you'd think he'd be asking about, I guess, my family and that, but Stephen, the Adelaide recruiter, asked me about economics, and I had to answer it on the spot, and it wasn't too bad, but it was just really different and weird. But I liked it because it was something unique, and it really, it made me remember, I guess, the interview, if that makes sense. Like you remember things that happened, And I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool, but weird.
And they also do it to see how your brain's working.
Exactly.
You know, they try and trick you, see how quick can they be and things like that. It's really cool. So my last question is, you've played with and also against a lot of really talented players. Who do you think is the most talented player that you've ever played with or against? And from that, what have you learnt from that person?
Probably most would say it, but like Matt Rowell, he's very talented, but he's also one of the most hardworking players, I guess, going around, and that just shows straight into the AFL.
Yeah.
Like I reckon would have won Rising Star if he
Yeah,
had
great.
Yeah.
definitely. And it just shows that most hardworking player gets the best results, is successful, and goes number one pick. So definitely Matt Rowell. He's been awesome, and just being able to be with him, I guess through the championship that we won the Chargers, just learning off him, just everything that he does, how precise he is, how hardworking he is, and just even watching him, like he's going to get the ball. Like if the ball's on the ground, you can just run the other direction because he's going to get it, and so he's just reliable. So I guess definitely Rowell. It's been good to be a part of his career, and he was also at Canterbury, so I was lucky enough to play up a couple games when I was younger in their team, so the team of me, and fill in for them because they needed players, and he was a star back then as well. So,
That's cool.
That's what happened there.
That's great.
Awesome. My last question is, obviously we know your strengths. What are your areas of improvement leading into the draft combine and in the future?
So I've got this question quite a bit from different people, but definitely my kicking. I think that has improved, but it's still not to the standard of, I guess, any AFL player. So I need to get that up, and I'm doing as much practice as I can, and hopefully I can get that to the level I'm satisfied with. For the combine especially, definitely my aerobic capacity. So the endurance side of footy. If I want to be a midfielder in the coming years, whether that be AFL or footy or anything, got to get that up, and got to get that down. And be able to, get a better 2K time in that. So I'm really striving right now in isolation to get as much run in, as much fitness type activities in, so that I can, I guess, poll a reasonable time and build that aerobic capacity better, so I can run out games more and become hopefully a midfielder in the near future.
Awesome. So we'll leave it there today, Reef, and we really appreciate you coming on to speak to us today. On a personal note for Greg and I, we have had the pleasure of seeing you develop as a footballer and a person the past 4 or 5 years, and we only wish you the best of luck leading into the draft combine, as well as Year 12 exams and whatever brings success in the future. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it heaps. Hope you guys are well.
Thanks, mate.